Hi, Steve.
Hi, Joanne.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I hear you're leaving us.
Yes, retiring. From here, not from life, but
Not from
here.
life.
Yes.
So give the community just a brief idea of what you're going to do.
Sure. Well, wife and I have always liked putzing on things and fixing stuff up, and so we've done that in a couple houses in Farmington Hills, and we've got a little cottage over on the west side of the state. We're going to keep doing that. Going to build
On the lake?
on a lake. Going to
All
build a
right.
little man cave, little workshop kind of thing, and then we're probably going to winter down in Florida somewhere.
Not bad.
At least for a while.
So have you had fun in your
It's been a
career here?
blast. Yeah. Best
Well-
26 years of my life.
We were just talking. I remember I came in '82, I think. And I remember when you arrived, and it was what, '89?
Correct.
And I remember walking in your office, you had taken Karen Burkholz's place. So what was your impression when you walked? Of course, it was a different city hall sort of
Sure,
then.
yeah.
What was your first impression?
Yeah, we were in the old building that
Yes,
has since
up the
been
stairs,
demolished.
yeah.
We'll get into that a little later, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I was just fortunate and thankful to have a job where I was.
We
I
all
didn't-
were at that
yeah,
time.
didn't want to be anymore, and so
Yeah.
Bill Kostick was the manager at the time.
Yes, he was.
Through a mutual friend, said, Steve, why don't you go fill in for Karen Burkholz, who was
Yeah.
going on a year-long maternity leave at the
Yeah.
time. She had twins.
Yes, all grown
And
up now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said, sure, I'd love the opportunity, and as soon as I get there, I'll learn some things certainly, but start looking for a job right away. And Bill, after a few months, said, he's a great guy that he was. He says, you got a little bit of potential here, Brock. If you want to stick around, we'll find a spot for you. And Karen, God bless, decided not to come back full time.
Yeah.
She has been with us in other capacities up until just recently. And so I kind of niched into that position and worked my way up eventually to this job.
So were you familiar with Farmington Hills when you started?
Only a little. I was in a neighboring community, Kitty Corner, and I knew that some of our police officers in Northville Township lived in Farmington Hills, so I only knew it from that standpoint.
Okay.
And I was involved with youth assistance in Northville
Yes,
Township,
yeah.
and one of the kids lived at 12 Mile and Orchard Lake. So, yeah.
so
we went to Marvin's
yes.
Museum before.
Was it still Tally Hall? Is that what they called it?
It was just, yeah.
So we have too much history.
Yeah.
So what was the first thing you did? Did you take a drive around the community?
Yeah,
or-
well, the first thing,
Yeah.
Bill Kostick showed me how to make coffee. Very
that was important to
Yep,
him, yeah.
so I got that
Because he
down.
didn't want to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he and Dave Call took me around town, showed me a little bit about this and that. They couldn't have been better about, orienting me.
Yeah.
And they knew that I'd been township manager, but also township, not the same as full-service city
very
at
different,
all.
yeah.
Lots
And-
of things going on.
Well, and you came, it wasn't quite the start of development here, but it was sort of the middle of it, wasn't
There
it?
were a lot of things going on, yes. Residential and
Big residential, right?
the country club had just been sold, and so the
Yeah.
corporate park was going in out at 12 and Haggerty.
Yeah.
A lot of things
God,
happening
is it
there.
that long ago?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
12 Mile was still hodgepodge at 2 and 3 lane.
That's
and
right.
Bought a
Yep.
house right along there, so I got to live through and watch
All the
that
traffic.
whole project. And
I think everyone was delighted when the boulevard finally
yes,
came.
it was beautiful.
And
It really opened that up for
it did.
development, right?
in Northwestern,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember when I first started, I was asked to do a series of stories on the development of Northwestern.
Yes,
And I remember a lot of open fields still at that point.
right.
So when you came, was it pretty built up?
Some of it was. There
'Cause that
was
was a focus, wasn't it?
right.
for a
There
while?
was very contentious redevelopment along there,
Mm-hmm.
and going from residential right along the highway to office, and
Yeah.
the lawsuits that resulted from
I
that.
remember
We
all that.
experienced a few of those.
I remember art issues along Northwestern.
Yes.
Do you remember that,
Public
Steve?
art.
Yeah.
Yeah, the broken
Yeah.
fence is still
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I know it
I live
is.
over there, so it's a
Yeah.
good reference point to turn
Yeah.
around. Yes.
So how many councils have you lived with,
Yeah. it's,
basically?
council members, I mean, none of the originals that hired me are
Aren't here
on the
anymore.
council anymore.
Yeah.
The last two just retired last term, Nancy Bates and
And
Cheryl
Cheryl
Oliverio.
Oliverio, yeah.
John Grant, blessed
Yeah.
memory, is gone.
Yeah.
And Aldo is gone. And
Ben
Ben
Marks
Marks
is
is gone. Yep, exactly. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
It was a different time, that's for sure.
It was a very
and,
different time.
Yeah, a little more brawl, a little more feist.
Yep,
in the
longer
council people.
meetings, right?
Mhm.
Much longer meetings.
Right. I calmed
remember-
all that down.
Well, we
Yeah.
know that was quite evident, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So what other history have you witnessed in this community? Because it's just so grown and boomed
Yeah,
and
right. Well, we made a lot of, I think, good improvements, and I've never cast a vote for anything, but we've had courageous council people that have done that. But we've come up with some good ideas all together. We took an old landfill that had been sitting, dead. I mean, there wasn't a rat out there. It was so dead because of the methane still.
Remind me where
breathing
that
up.
was.
Halstead and 11 Mile. We had a dream, long before I got here, of an 18-hole golf course. We had 9, the old San Marino kitty corner. And, brilliant idea to get that property. The brownfield laws had changed at the state level that allowed for that kind of thing. Before that, you bought the responsibility, which the city would never do. And we took that old dump, 23 some acres, and the surrounding 45, and made a beautiful additional 9 holes out of it in the clubhouse. So, and that property's alive again, not just with golfers.
And across the street, the city bought too, right?
We bought a property from the schools.
Yeah.
Yep, they had an idea for a 5th middle school and worked out a very good and fair deal for both entities there. So, yeah, we're very pleased and proud about that. The flora and fauna are back on that golf course. It's all properly
nice.
capped now.
And the
doing very well.
condos that back up on
That
it,
helped
right?
pay for it all, yep.
Yeah.
That's all worked out very well. And, we had way too much development originally planned. And with good conversations with the neighbors, one of the council people, Ken Massey, came out of that.
Yeah.
And Mayor Pro Tem now. And it's been, hugely successful, and I think a good fit in the neighborhood too. So.
And, well, I know the City Hall under your watch.
Yeah, City Hall, one of my first impressions when I walked in was, man, this is
It's very
kind of
small,
an
isn't
unsightly,
it?
weird building, mansard roof kind of feel. I didn't even really believe it was City Hall. I had a vision of Farmington Hills.
Now, was the police department here, the separate one, when you came?
They had just moved out of that building that we occupied into the new one next
yeah.
door, which was a whole big mess
Oh,
unto
I remember
itself,
that, yeah.
right? So that was one of my first impressions, that I'm glad to have a job, but this ain't a great building to be in.
No.
And we added on a couple more times after that, just, like the city was growing, so did the City Hall. But then we made a conscious choice about 10 years ago that we need to start saving some money here and deferred some maintenance and put a fresh look on this building and modernize to the times and to where we wanted to go as a community.
And it's environmentally, I don't know what the word is, but.
We are LEED certified
thank
gold.
you.
Yep. And some great aspects to it. And it's a little bigger building than we had, but it uses 40% less energy,
Isn't that
which
amazing?
is fabulous. Geothermal and daylighting and green roofs in certain sections and more efficient lighting all together.
Yeah.
So it's really been a great thing
great.
for us. And I think great for the community. We see a lot more people in here using it.
Well,
than
and I
ever
think the
before.
public art helps. You've had activities in here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
almost sort of a mini community center in its own kind of way. Now, was the Caustic Center the Caustic Center? It wasn't, right?
It was Mercy.
Mercy, that's right.
And
yeah.
we had just a room in there.
Yeah, I
when
remember
started
that.
Here,
yeah. And people could use the pool, right?
On a
Could they?
sometime basis,
On a
as I
sometime.
recall, yeah. And then we, Bill particularly, made inroads with the sisters as to how we could better utilize and more efficiently utilize the space there. And they were slowly, waning their activities here, so it kind of worked out. And then Bill and I were actually the ones negotiating the deal with them. I remember it. And we got to a good resolution there with the sisters, very pleasant. And they were tough, but pleasant. And we got a good deal. And so when Bill retired, they named it appropriately
after,
so.
So neat,
Center.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know Water Tower under your guidance,
Yeah,
right?
again, a good city council idea there.
Yeah.
How can we, drove them nuts every year. How can we save money for our ratepayers on the water and sewer side? And one of the ideas we hit upon was, building a tower. Previously, Detroit would not allow it because they wanted to sell you at the highest
water.
buck.
Yeah.
And they got to figuring out that they couldn't deliver anymore when
Yeah.
there were water shortages and things like that. So we said, well, we'll build one because in 5 years it'll pay for itself and be better pressure, better reliability, 3 million gallons sitting there whenever you need it kind of thing. So you fill it up at night when the rates are cheap,
Isn't that amazing?
which helps Detroit.
And
Use it
have you
during the day.
seen a
Absolutely.
benefit already?
Yeah, about 3
Because
million.
it was opened a year ago, right?
Right, about $3 million in savings for the
So far.
ratepayers just last year. So
That's
this year
great.
we actually saw a slight reduction in water rates by virtue of it.
That's really
Overall
neat.
rates are up because
People
sewers
are
up.
very
a bit,
happy, I bet.
and as they should be.
You
So
had
are we.
mentioned Danvers Pond was one of your favorites.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Yeah. I mean, I love nature, and you know, that's why the golf course project, although it's a golf course, I know some people have a little disdain for that. We took a dead property, made it alive.
Yeah.
We had a pond that was pretty dead over in the Danvers area, Wood Creek, my neighborhood, and it was an old mill pond, probably
Yes,
a
I
vestige
remember it.
of the
Yeah.
village days.
Yeah.
And it was unsustainable. You know, every 10, 15 years we had to be in there mucking out the silt, and it was just a mess. So we worked with the residents. They had a few concerns about losing their pond and going back to the natural riffling stream, but we got a 100% grant from the federal government to renaturalize, get the dam out, which was failing. And I really love that project now. We do a little maintenance to make sure we keep it as we promised the residents would be, an amenity and something that, you know,
Yeah.
could be gazed upon and
Yeah.
reflected upon.
That's
and
neat.
It's working out. So.
Well, and I think Farmington Hills is known. You've got the nature roads, and I know in my early days here, when that was becoming an issue, where there were people for it and against it, but it's worked out.
Right.
I mean, I purposely like drive down Drake
Yeah.
for some peace and quiet
Natural beauty roads, I think we've kept a good amount of character in the community
Yeah.
through all the development.
with the trees.
Right, exactly.
So
And Woodland Hills was
Yes.
added.
Yes.
I wasn't the manager then either.
Yeah.
Bill gets credit for that, but
Yeah.
we added that as a nature conservancy.
I remember
and-
taking a tour in the dead of winter there.
Yeah,
It was incredible. Yeah.
beautiful. If the wind's blowing in the right direction, it can be quiet too.
Yes,
It's
it
right next
can.
to the freeway, but
Yeah.
you get a
And
nice south
Heritage
breeze.
Park really has grown
Yes.
a lot in the last 2 decades.
Yes, and I think we've added some nice amenities there
Yeah.
that, you know, maybe are a little more active than some would like, but the splash pad's been a huge success. And we have a pavilion there, and people picnic there, and you know, we've got the barn that's got more
Well, there always
activities all
seems
the
to be
time.
people there,
Right.
which is great.
We're adding an archery range over
Yeah.
by the stables.
Is that
so-
open yet, Steve?
It is.
Okay.
In fact, we're taping this on a Wednesday. Monday, July 13th, we're going to be having the grand opening of it. So,
Great.
yeah.
That'll be
So that'll
fun.
be a nice amenity for the
That'll be
community
fun.
too. We try to give the people what they want, and
Yeah.
to the degree,
And recreation is a big thing here.
exactly, and to the degree we
Passive
can.
and active.
Right, and I think we've pretty much met the mark. We feel good about that. Community surveys we do tell us that, you know, 90% or so are getting what they want out of us, and that's what we're here to do. So happy to do it.
So I only can assume you've had fun.
Oh, it's been a ball, yeah.
I mean, you've been part of history, Steve, right?
Small, but yes.
There's always a captain at the ship, right? What is your most favorite recollection
Yeah.
in your years here?
Other than being taught how to make coffee on the first
Yeah.
day by Caustic. Yeah.
I wish someone would teach me. Yeah.
I don't know if there's one favorite recollection, but what I'm proudest of, and if I have any kind of small legacy, it's the people that work here. It's really a fabulous group. And
I would agree.
Yeah, we've got
would
the
agree.
right people on the bus
Yeah.
in just about every case. And you know, in a collective bargaining environment, that's not always the easiest thing
No,
to do,
no.
but we've achieved it. And I give all the credit to the department heads, our HR people. They do a fabulous job making sure that we've got the best people here. We've never compromised.
Good
on-
personalities.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Never
very
compromise
warming
on
and
who we're
welcoming.
hiring, and yeah, I really love that part of it. And I'm, in my estimation anyway, leaving the place in good shape. You know, some people say, "Why would you give this job up? It's a great job," and it is. And there's not a better one. I'm not looking for one.
But you're still young, enjoy life.
Yeah, it's all the needles are pointing up here, and I'm really proud of all the people that have gotten it there, from council right on down. We're in good shape, so community ought to be proud and.
Well, now I
feel
know,
blessed.
you know, certainly we've all lived through the latest recession. As a city manager, though, how did you deal with that?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like everything just belly flopped.
Sure, yeah. I can count the number of bad days I've had here on one hand.
Really?
And a couple of them started bad. Not many of them, not very many of them ended badly, but just a couple. And they were when, you know, we were at break points on a couple of collective bargaining deals that
Yeah.
had to get things right.
Yeah.
And I won't say it snuck up on us, but there were a couple things that went a lot quicker than a lot of us imagined they could have gone with regard to, you know, values going down. And that hit us hard in a couple of years in a row, and hit everybody hard.
Yeah.
And us hard as well.
Yeah.
And I admire the fact that most people, after getting over the pain of that, have understood what we did and why we did it. We didn't lay anybody off.
Which was
And
amazing, actually,
I think so.
for an
Yeah.
organization during that time.
Council held together when they could have fractured, and I'm very proud of how everyone handled it in the end. And that wasn't fun
No.
for a little bit of a period of time there, but I think we've come out of it much better condition. Lots of places still struggling, but we are in good shape, I think, because of how we handled things then and how we've always handled things. You know, we've done our share of cutting as well. We had to, just like
Yeah,
everyone's had to do.
certainly.
And we're gradually building ourselves back, never probably to the level we were from a staffing or
Yeah.
otherwise standpoint, but we've learned to be more efficient, and we are. And people have expected that, you know, they need to help out a little bit more, and they have, and I'm appreciative of that.
Well, now, the city seems now, you know, you and I both lived through the development. 20-odd years later, the city's in redevelopment mode.
Absolutely.
Is that harder?
Yes.
Okay, tell me why it's
Yes.
harder.
I think it is from the standpoint of getting it done.
Yeah,
You know, it's one thing to go through those long council meetings when you have, you know, a neighborhood that's going to have a neighborhood built to them, and
Yes.
more people coming in, and what you have to go through just to get to that and listen to those people's concerns and deal with traffic and deal with filling up the schools, although
Yeah.
wouldn't we love to have more
Yeah,
kids in our
yes.
schools today.
yeah.
Getting through that is getting through that. Getting a redevelopment deal is more of a challenge just to get it, and then go through the public
Yes.
struggle of what it is in, you know, the public environment.
And none of us like change, which I'm sure.
I do.
Well, I do too.
I
but-
do. Good change is always good. You got to manage it.
Yeah.
I know it, but I know it isn't easy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you start with new buildings that they're not accustomed to,
Yeah.
and
And redevelopment, and when you've had something there for so long, and now something different is going to be there.
but is the city at a point? You know, you brought the city to this point. Is redevelopment necessary?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Why?
Well, example, on the old Alexander Hamilton building.
Yes.
It's a disaster. When
Yes,
you
it
drive
is.
by at 70 miles an hour on the freeway, it looks okay.
Yeah.
You get up close,
Yeah.
it's coming down.
Yeah.
And it's going to come down, and we're going to have 1, 2, maybe a few years out, 3 hotels there,
Yeah.
but I think that's a ways out.
Yeah.
That's good redevelopment, and yes, we need that. That property's been dead for 10, 12 years, and you
It's
can't.
amazing it's been that long.
Right, you
Because I
can't-
remember Dick Headley working there.
Right, seemed like
Yeah.
yesterday too.
Yeah. You were here when he was here, right? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've got to capitalize on opportunities like that. We've got a couple derelict pieces up on Northwestern that after the
Okay.
roundabout's complete,
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that the developers will see now's the
Talk to
time.
me about the roundabout.
Yes.
It seems the public is, I love roundabouts. Some people don't,
Right.
but I gather that's significant
Yes.
for that
Yes,
triangle
It
there.
is. Yep. Safety-wise, certainly. Mobility-wise, certainly. But also, I think from an economic development standpoint, you have to look at all aspects of
Yes.
roads. They're not just for moving cars, they're for economic development and social too.
Yeah.
We might not get as much pedestrian traffic up there, but we're going to get more economic development, I firmly believe it, because there will be some folks who avoid it just because they don't want to struggle with a roundabout. But once people see that that can move very well and operates efficiently, I think you'll see you know, some businesses
Now,
fill in there.
How will that help development or redevelopment
Make it easier to get to and from.
access?
Yep, absolutely. People won't feel like, I got to go up and fight that traffic. They'll know they can move smoothly through there and make their turning movements more safely, and that'll be easier for everybody. So,
Do you think it's the start of other changes on Orchard Lake?
yes,
Which,
yeah,
you know, every community has an Orchard Lake, right?
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And a Grand River, which
And
we'll
a
talk a
Grand
little
River.
about. When I got here back in '89, they were just going through the year 2000 plan.
Isn't
Here
that
we are in
amazing?
2015.
I remember those days.
And
yeah.
one of the visions was Orchard Lake looking nicer and better. We've made a little progress, but you know, 25 years goes fast, and we haven't made enough. I would absolutely acquiesce to that point. We need to keep working on that, but I think we can make some improvements along there. What we don't have in our town is, you know, those little niche mixed uses, an overused and misunderstood term. I don't want to use that one, or new urbanism, same thing, but you get the
As
idea.
you're trying to work on 10 and Orchard, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Something that creates a little better pedestrian feel to it. Not a downtown, you can't build one, but something that feels better from
It's a gathering.
from
Okay.
a pedestrian scope,
A
has some
focus,
public
yeah.
space to it, and people feel comfortable in and want to be there, hanging out, if you will. And attracts younger people, you know,
Yes.
that sense of place. We need that.
Yes.
You know, Farmington has a little bit of that with the downtown, but, you know, that's them. And some of us gravitate there.
Yeah.
I like that town, but we need our own little pods north of the freeway for sure. And Tenant Orchard you mentioned, so
Yes.
some work
And
there.
Grand River, I know you're working on.
Yep, Nate Geinzer has been our lead
Yeah.
guy there on the Corridor Improvement Authority, and we've got the county on board finally. So I'm optimistic about some redevelopment happening there. It's going to take time. I mean,
Yeah,
it
everything
didn't get to
does.
where it is overnight either. It'll take some time to come back, but got a Riviera Theater there now in the West River Center that, you know, we've got good anchors. Now we just need to fill up the
You
middle.
got the hospital.
Yes,
Yeah.
Spotsford's doing some big redevelopment as Beaumont now,
Yeah.
so we're looking forward to that, and I know the community and the council will be supportive of that. Again, we'll have a little stuff to get through, but we'll get through it. Yeah, we have to
great.
because it's a great amenity to have in
Well,
a
it
community.
is.
I don't want to even think about
It's
Farmington
a
Hills
major
without it.
access point, entry point, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
I don't want to take up all of your day, Steve, but
That's all right. I love talking about what we've done here. It's
well, you're about to leave. What would you like your legacy here to be?
well, again, I think it's the people.
Yeah.
You know, the employees here and the sense of community that we still have, and the fact that people, you know, want to be here and
Yeah.
want to work here and want to live here. And I've lived here all 26 years. I've loved every minute of that too. It's a great place to live. So I think that's it. You know, the infrastructure stuff and all that, we've done our job in
Yeah.
making sure that that's here. So I'm good with that. I'd like to see the Grand River Corridor, you know, get better.
Yeah.
And you know,
It
get some
will.
yeah, and get some
Just takes
redevelopment done. And you know, the schools are an important part of
Yeah.
not the city directly, but the community as a whole. And you know, the bond initiative was just passed. There were reasons why I stayed as long as I did. One of them was to make sure that any little influence I had on that was exerted to get that done. And that is.
And the road millage.
And the road millage.
Last year,
Yep, both
yeah.
are very important financial keys. And George Heitch is doing a fabulous job with the schools now, so that's an important thing. Getting some more buzz and people wanting to move into our two communities here to support the schools is a good thing. So, yeah.
Two real quick last questions.
Sure.
So will people still see you around in the community?
Well, not that I'd cast any kind of shadow anyway, but I plan to just kind of be gone. I think it's appropriate to
Yeah.
not hang around, quite
Yeah.
frankly, and hang on.
Yeah.
So I'll still, you know, with the internet these days and, you know, phone conversations, whatever else, I'll
Keep in
kind of
touch.
keep in touch, but I don't plan to linger, quite frankly, so.
Now, I have to tell you, everywhere I look on the internet, I see the goat.
Yes.
So you've got to just address the
Pilot.
goat before
Yeah,
we're done. His
right.
name is Pilot.
Well,
is it a
because
boy goat?
It is.
Okay.
Which is not all that easy to determine
No,
sometimes.
I don't even want to know that,
Yeah,
Steve.
the name Pilot comes because it's a pilot program, and we
Okay.
had talked about it even before as a way to deal with invasive species, poison ivy, things
Yeah.
like that. As much clothes as you can put on to go get it, people still get it.
Yeah.
So goats have this mechanism, this metabolism by which they can eat all that stuff, and it comes out the other end clean
Yeah.
and non-toxic. So
Yeah.
that's great. And their little hoofs chop up roots as they're
Yeah.
walking, stepping. So we happened to get one for nothing.
Yeah.
It was available through someone just leaving it,
Yeah.
and all humane. And so we have a pilot here with us. And interesting story, one of our DPW guys' son is in the Navy, and the goat is their mascot. So it's not to
Really?
be scoffed at. They take it
Wow.
very seriously. And
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, we've got Pilot, and through the good graces of one of our neighbors here, he weekends at their little farm setting, and then we have him overnight here. And he's out
So he's
munching
working
away.
for his room and board,
You
right?
got it. He's out munching away in one of our retention basins, eating up the
So is he going to
grasses.
be moved where
Yes.
he needs to work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wherever there is grass and
How
stuff.
neat is that?
Yeah, he's
Who
fun.
would have ever thought, huh?
Well, we're cutting edge once again.
There's your legacy, Steve.
Right, there you go, Pilot. And
Pilot.
we make it co-pilot too. There's one available on the east
Really?
side. They are social little critters. He
Yeah.
likes when
They
people are
need-
around.
they need
and-
buds, right?
Yeah, so we're hopeful that that can work out, and
That's great.
yeah, we'll be in good shape there.
Well, we'll miss you, Steve.
Well, thank you.
Nice
I will
working
miss it
with
here
you
as well.
In and out over the decades.
Yes, you were here then and left for a
Yeah.
while, and
Yeah.
now back, and now kind of gone a little bit again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Always around
I
there.
got to say, the media has always been great with us too. Very
thank you.
fair, very
Thank you.
appreciative when things were a little more sensitive than not, and
Well, we've all, the
Yeah.
O&E has always enjoyed Farmington.
yeah, good. Shared information. That's what we're
Yeah.
about. It's not about hiding anything, but you know, you gotta
Yeah.
use a little tact once in a while, and you guys always have done that.
Well,
and
thank you very much.
called us, to question when questions need to be called.
And I was
so.
always good at that, wasn't
Yes.
I, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was only one really odd one that I can remember. Wasn't you? I
we'll talk
forget
later,
his name.
okay.
Right. Off camera. Otherwise, great.
Okay.
Well, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Steve.
I appreciate
Good luck.
it. Yeah. Thank you.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.